Gone Girl. I saw this movie about a week ago, and normally after I see a movie, I think about it on the drive home, and then I do the review. Most of the time, or I wait until the next day, depending on how tired I am. For this movie, I couldn't do it right away because I had to think about it. Everything had to kind of like sink in, and I still feel that I need to see this movie one more time, just to get everything that happens in this movie, because I am just torn. I went into this movie thinking I was really excited, and then I just went through waves of different stuff, and I still am not 100% certain how I feel about this movie, but I will try my best. So, Gone Girl is directed by David Fincher, and stars Ben Affleck, Rosamund Pike, Neil Patrick Harris, and Tyler Perry. Now, strangely enough, Tyler Perry is not the weakest link for those actors. Actually, he's not even the second weakest link. Tyler Perry, I actually really enjoyed in this movie, and I wanted more of him. And I find that so odd for me to be saying that. Neil Patrick Harris's character, while I love Neil Patrick Harris, really was not the right pick for this. There was only one moment when he's in this house, when he's in like this cottage and he's talking. It's only the first time that he's in this cottage that I was like, okay, that was very much like Neil Patrick Harris. Everything else I really did not feel like he was meant for this role. And Rosamund Pike, sometimes I enjoyed her acting because it fit what was going on, but other times I was just really, there's certain flashbacks about like the past relationship that she has with Ben Affleck's character that I'm just like, she seems so fake and phony, and you know, maybe this is part of her character. Maybe she was specifically acting like that, so it could be related, but I just felt that her character was so blah, and I did not care for her at all. Anyway, so the storyline here is that Ben Affleck and Rosamund Pike are married, and Ben Affleck comes home and his wife is missing. Rosamund Pike is gone, and so he invites over some, obviously the police, and he says, my wife's not here, and then they start looking around, and it looks like there might have been some foul play here, either like a kidnapping or possibly a murder. We don't know exactly. And I really liked the main detective, who, I can't remember her name is Kim something. She's in Deadwood. She was awesome. She was really awesome, and I wish that we would have seen more of her as well. In the first two acts, you see a lot of her, and then the third act is kind of like the strangest act of this movie, and you really don't know where it's going to go. Throughout this entire movie, you don't know where it's going to go, but the third act is just like, a lot of the characters, like Tyler Perry's barely in it at that point, the detective is barely in at that point, and I really wanted them to be there, but they weren't. So there's like, I don't know. I'm asking for more Tyler Perry. How strange is this? Anyway, so that's the story, is that Ben Affleck has gone home and it looks like something has gone wrong. And as the days progress, things start really looking bad for Ben Affleck. And one of the main parts of this movie as well is that they use the media to show you what we see, up to a certain extent. I mean, at the beginning, that's all you kind of see, is how the media kind of can lead you to believing what's going on, and you never really know what's going on because it's just what the media portrays. And that's cool in one way, and is almost like the glue to this movie until the very end. But it's not really apparent sometimes, and I mean, there's irony involved in this, but I don't want to spoil anything. That's my biggest thing, is that because Gone Girl is something that I would say I recommend, but it's not for everyone. But it's worth seeing one time, at least, at some point in time, because it's such a roller coaster. They'll show you one thing, and you'll say, okay, I think it's going to go this way. And then they show you something else, and it's like, okay, we're going in a completely different direction now, and because we're going this way, it's got to go this way. Nope, we're going to stop that as well. And they keep going back and forth, and you never know what's going to happen. And I really enjoy that. You really get on the edge of your seat here because it's interesting. The second half of this movie is probably the best part. Even the first half is interesting, but it takes a while to get things going. Like the first 45 minutes or so, it's kind of like leading up to this second act, and it's interesting, but you're waiting for things to start happening, and then start happening in the second act, and that's my favorite part of the movie is the second act. Something is realized, and you're like, holy crap, this is really interesting now, but I still don't know where it's gonna go, and I liked that. That was that was the biggest accomplishment that I could say of this film. And also, you know, giving Tyler Perry an awesome role and making me want to see more of him. So the casting, half good. Ben Affleck I thought was fantastic in this. Tyler Perry did a very good job. I want to see him more. The main detective, she was awesome in this. She's from Deadwood. But Rosamund Pike, half the time I liked her, half the time I really thought that she was just fake and phony. And then Neil Patrick Harris, I think, was unfortunately a miss for this movie. As for the story and the entirety of this movie, first act is interesting, second act is the best, the third act is kind of where just things really didn't end up going the right way, in my opinion. And you're left wanting more. There's a conclusion, kind of, but you're left wanting more. That's all I'll say. So I'm going to give this movie a 7 out of 10, but I definitely do need to see this movie one more time to really let everything sink in once again and just pay attention to the entire movie and see how I really feel about this movie. Some people will love how it ends, some people will be meh, and some people will dislike it. So it really depends. But thank you all for watching. You've been Bearded In. Beardage!